Hello and welcome to Gierok Farms. In today's video we're going to talk about a project Dad has started here in the past couple days. Especially with the dry weather, we're able to tackle something like this, a little bit of a farm improvement project.
Exactly. Last year I was going to dig this pond down. The dike is getting bad and the fence is starting to fall in. We're going to have to redo that stuff too. But what I wanted to, so we pumped it down and then we ended up with 2 inches of rain. It filled it right back up. We kind of just said we're not going to bother with that. It was raining late summer there. But now this year, I think it's a perfect time. So we got the hay off down here. And if you show that, how dry that field is. And so we got a 3-inch pump here. And I've had this pump for about 10 years already. We've done this to all our ponds, all the older ones. We dug them out and then redone the dikes. And some of them were put in without overflows. The pipes anyway, they were just going with tops. And we put a pipe in and fenced them. And so we're kind of irrigating here, and I think what you'll do, you'll show a short clip of something I tried. It's not exactly your traditional way of irrigating, but I thought it was kind of fun anyway, the little bit I did.
Now we'll throw that clip in.
Yeah. Pretty cool. But I had this thing running, so I filled up with gas and made sure my hose was deep enough. So you go home, do a bunch of other stuff, come back here a few hours later, and I walked down through here to see how far that water went. I mean, maybe 300-400 feet. Didn't even get down even a fraction of the way to the creek. I don't know how many thousand gallons this thing pumped already, but it's dry when it's not getting there. It's just soaking in. Time to get her done. And so then I'm going to have them take all that. It's kind of more of a smear, almost looks like pudding when they take it out. And we're going to extend our overflow pipe so that don't get buried. And he's going to set most of it right here. And then it might be 6 months. Heck, it might be next summer by the time that stuff dries out enough. And then we're going to use some of that soil to kind of patch up some of these rough spots in the pasture here nearby. And try to make the most of it, make things nicer.
Yep, keep improving things.
I mean, it's just the cost of the excavating and then some labor, really. When we started putting ponds in, back in '92, we did some. And it was more about water for the cows so they didn't have to come back by the barn. But the guys that helped me put them in, they were like, they're going to ruin your dikes and stuff. And they were right. I mean, after a few years, then we fixed them up again and put fences around them. And it's not good for, you don't want dairy cows standing in this because it gets hot like this. They all stand in there, and maybe that's okay if they're dry, but then they drink it too. And then if you have any kind of cow issues in the future, you're always wondering if that's linked to that. So that was another reason why we drilled the well up here. So then I got the tank. The heifers can come here and dry cows and maybe drink here if they want to, but they can't literally go in there and crap in there, and they're not.
It's not a big swimming pool.
Yeah, it's just I don't have a problem with that if they just can reach a little bit, but typically they don't ruin the banks so much if they all can't go down in there. Right now we've got 10 ponds on this farm, and they're all about this size or bigger. We got such a farm where there's so many ravines and in places where we can catch it, and like the meadow, there's 3 of them in there we put in. Those are some of the last ones we did, and down there the cows don't have access to yet. We're kind of stewing on how we're going to do that, maybe a little fall grazing at times or something. But we planted fruit trees on the dike, so you get a nice wide dike like apple trees, and just off to the edge of the dike. And I thought there's so much topsoil down there from years of erosion from 100 years of them guys working these hills. So them trees, they're looking good. And then it was easy getting them started because then we had water nearby. We just paled it on them. But the deer, the wildlife just loves it. So, and now when it's so dry, I've seen lots of deer in the open, middle of the day, coming down to get to the creek for water. And there's, the corn isn't canopied or the hay is all off, and it's kind of odd to see wildlife like that just strutting through in the middle of a hot day, but they're looking for water. And when we got these water caught back up in these hills, it kind of, encourages some of that. If
Keeps them around.
That's something you're into. Not that we're necessarily into outfitting, but it is nice to see we're helping both sides of everything. So that's the plan, and maybe we'll give you guys an update. So I got a guy scheduled with quite an excavator, and he's having lots of fun now because he can go everywhere.
All the dry conditions.
That's kind of the key to excavating, I guess, getting weather too.
Speaking of weather, I don't know if you guys can hear it on camera. We got some thunder overhead, so hopefully we get some rain out of that, but who knows?
We kind of forgot what that sounds like.
Yeah.
We're mid to late June. Typically, thunderstorm season for us is kind of early June until about the 15th. It seems like you get those, those scattered, but they lay out 2 inches of rain at times, and we didn't get any of that this year, so we're kind of a little concerned now. Typically we go into our dry time normally, and we're already dry. So that's our story here. So we got this 3-inch pump. With a pump like this, you got to prime it, so you always bring a 5-gallon bucket. And yeah, I think is that a Honda motor on here? I think it is, yeah. And we bought this by a heavy equipment store, but you go in your pond or whatever, and you have to fill that full of water. That'll hold maybe 3 gallons, 4 gallons maybe. So that's got to be sealed. And then you start this thing up, and sometimes I got to wiggle the intake pipe a little bit. There's maybe an air bubble, and it'll once you get it primed. And then on this side, this is just like a fire hose type of thing. And I think they come in 2-inch, 3-inch. It's probably 4 and bigger and all that, but I end up getting 2 sections of this. Because what'll happen later on, I'll get an old pallet, and I drag this down in there, and it's real mucky, but the water, of course, keeps going down because this hose here is only like 20 feet or so. So I got to get the pump closer to the water as we get closer to the center of the pond to get it pumped out. And then I got this one long enough so it makes it over the dike, and you can get it going. But I think even if it rains now, unless it really gets to be a hard one, that isn't going to add anything to this.
No.
So, but it'll be kind of neat. So I'll give you guys an update when he gets it all shaped up. I'm kind of excited about that, getting this dike back in shape, and then whatever he digs out of here is going to be solid topsoil, or
It'll be some really fertile stuff.
you can smear it someplace where something don't grow so good and make some grass out of it that makes beef. Take quite a shower with this.
If any of you know how many gallons per minute that pump can pump, let us know. I'm sure sure there's equations for that.
There probably is, but I think part of it is so if the hose is nice and straight, there's no kinks downhill, it'll make a difference for pushing it up into something. I mean, we were gonna actually rent one years ago, and then we realized, oh, this pond, every other year we probably get in some big idea of, and if we ever have some huge flooding issues in whatever it is, it can be a little lifesaver, whether it's for us or someone in the neighborhood.
Oh, for sure.
So, and pretty much when I'm done with it, you can take it apart. There's just 2 big finger nuts, pressure wash it out,
Good to go again.
slide it back under the tool bench. There you go. Roll up the hose.